Do you feel like you're stuck in a rut with your social media marketing agency or your business, your coaching business, or your consulting business, or maybe you're a sales pro just trying to get to the next level? Well, today I'm going to share how to make seven figures without paid ads. Let's do it. What's happening, FlowChat connector or fellow entrepreneur as they may be? Make sure and smash that like button. Share this out to somebody else who needs to get a little bit better at sales and maybe building their business. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you find some value as we get on into it. Today, I'm going to talk about making seven figures without using paid ads. We're going to talk about some tech that you might be able to use to enhance what you're already doing, amplifying and accelerating your business endeavors and model. So let's dive in. Well, where do we start? What do we go for? Well, first and foremost, I want to talk about the big secret. So what's the big secret when it comes to making seven figures without paid ads? It's very simple. Number one, you must have a team. Number two, you must have a system. The big secret here is team and system equal success. If you're looking to scale to seven figures, yes, it's possible to do it on your own, but guess what? You can't sustain doing it on your own. I've tried, I've burned out, I've almost drove off the road to end my life. It's not worth the investment of your time to go it alone. Yes, you can go fast when you go by yourself, but you can't go very far. It's like, you're burning at twice the brightness and your wick just runs out of energy and you're done, right? And so the big secret here in how to get to seven figures without paid advertising is having a team and a system to back it up, emphasizing the system. That's the architecture, the infrastructure. Why is this valuable? Well, if you have good systems and good infrastructure, your business becomes very attractive if you ever wanted to exit down the road. And guess what? When you have a team, you're now providing into the economy, you're providing jobs, you're doing a really good thing, and you're helping to grow. So it helps everybody else grow, but it also helps you not to burn out. And it allows you to get to that seven figures, eight figures and beyond. We've done it multiple times to eight figures. And all I'm sharing is you need to have team and system. If you don't know team and system yet, make sure you get familiar with these concepts, right? So here is what I wanted to share today is the exact way to get to seven figures. Now, this is going to be a little bit baseline because I wanted to keep it very simple for you to understand, but you can play with the numbers as you see fit. So the first thing is we think about what is our price point and how many clients do we need to get to seven figures without paying advertising. So you just take whatever a client would invest with you, that amount divided by a million divided by that number, and that will give you the amount of clients that you particularly need. So in this example, as you can see the framework here, I'm going to walk through this backwards so you can understand how to figure out exactly how many clients you need to get to seven figures. Now, the numbers are the numbers. They're not going to change. The only inputs that will change is the price point and the amount of clients that you think you can even manage or handle. And if you're trying to get to $1 million, maybe you're thinking about it and you're like, oh, well, it's a pie in the sky thought. This will give you some idea of how much work might be required to actually get there for your business. Say, for example, you're charging $10,000 per client. And if we needed to get to $1 million, what do? We take $1 million divided by 10,000 and we get 100 clients as needed, right? So that's just a quick example. In this case, this says 10 clients. So that would mean if we wanted 10 clients to do $1 million, we need to be able to charge those guys $100,000 a year, which I've seen several agencies do with a lot of success. So this model does exist at a very low volume, but most people have a lower offer than $100,000. You just need to formulate the math the way that you need to do it. So let's say 10 is the retainer client amount that you need to consistently hit $1 million each and every year. Well, how do we do this? Let's go to the next step. The next step is we need to decide how many sales calls are you're closing. Now, if you're not going through sales calls, you should be if you're charging a lot of money. But again, if you're running it to a website, these numbers are going to be a little bit different, but we're talking specifically about call bookings. Let's say you're pretty average or maybe a little above average as a sales professional, and you close 1 out of 3 people. That means every 33% close rate that you have, and every 3 people, you close 1 deal. Don't forget to pad this number a little bit with no shows and cancellations. So if you have that data, you want to add it in here. The industry average is around 20% cancels. If you're really good, it's 10. I think ours is like 10.2 or something like that. So it's close. And so we know that if we need 10 clients, we close 1 in 3, we need to speak to about 36 people. And if we can speak to 36 people, we're going to get to our 10 clients. That's math. So now we just go back another step and we figure out, well, if we need 36 calls booked to get to this $1 million without paid ads, well, how many people do we need to engage and nurture, have conversations with? Well, most industry averages range from 20% to 50% in booked calls. If you already know your booked call number, that's awesome, because now you can just reverse do it. So what we do here is we take 36 divided by the industry standard low, let's be conservative, by 0.20, and we get 180 conversations that we have to be engaged with and nurturing in order to book the 36 calls, in order to close the 10 clients to hit that $1 million run rate, right? And so what that means is now we need to figure out how many prospects we need to start conversations with in order to engage with, in order to book call with, in order to close with. So if we go one step forward, we can see most industries average, the range here is between 10 and 40%. So if you have 40%, this number is going to be way lower than what you see on the screen here. But if it's closer to 10, that's what we did. So 180 is the conversation engagement level that we need, divided by, let's go 10%, so 0.1. This gives us 1,800 prospects that we know we need to start, or at least get a response from. And if we need to get a response from 1,800 people, the only question that's left is how many suspects. A suspect is somebody who we think may be a fit, but we've never engaged with them before. And we want to take them through a little qualification criteria, which I'll share in a second with you. And then once they fit that, now we want to start breaking the ice, and now we want to get engagement. So once we get engagement with 1,800 people, we'll take 180 of those people down into a deeper conversation, eventually book 36 of them, and then close 10. These are industry standards. Some people have way better numbers, some people not as good, right? So now we know how many prospects we truly need. And this leaves the suspects. So all we have to do is, let's finish the loop here. Pretend you're able to qualify 2 out of every 3 profiles. So that's 2/3 of the profiles you look at. 2 out of 3 of them are potentially a great match for you to start the process. This means we need to do 1,800, because that's the amount of prospects we need, divided by 0.66, or 2/3, and that will equal 2,728 suspects that we need to start conversations with. And that's it. You now know the math. If you start conversations with almost 3,000 people and you charge $100,000, you will get 10 clients at the end of that sales process if you're using industry standard numbers. Very, very simple. If you need more clients, it's going to equal more suspects and more prospects and more conversations. And that's really where we get to, let's start talking about high ticket. And what's really fascinating about this, just to kind of share, like I mentioned I would, is when you have a suspect, right? This is if we're on social media, we're looking at their profile. What we're going to do is look at their profile and then say, what are like 3 to 5 yes or no questions I can ask myself to truly identify whether this person should pass through my filter of being a suspect into a prospect? So one might be, do they have a background picture of business if they're a business person, if that's who you're targeting? Number 2 is maybe you only want to speak with English speaking people. So make sure they're in an English speaking country like the US or Canada or Australia, New Zealand, UK. There's lots of places that speak English. Ireland's another one, right? And then the third question might be, do they use their profile for business? Are they into faith? Like, there's a lot of things you could put into this pre-filtering criteria. And then all we need to do is just scrub against, the suspects against that list. And then you come out with the list of prospects in which you can ready to start engage and building those conversations. And so while this looks like just looking at this example, it might look like a very daunting task, but remember, it's not. Right? We know that if we're trying to get to 10 clients and paying us $100,000 each, 2,700 people is not that many people to go through in order to find the perfect 10 that you want to work with. To sell is to serve. And to sell is to serve, and I'm serious about that. The idea here is you don't want to work with everybody. If they have a breath, it doesn't matter. If they have the problem you solve, then that's a good fit. And you like the person that you're working with. Very important. Culture is a thing, right? If you get a client that's too nitpicky or too in the weeds with you, or they function in a way that you don't, it's going to be a complete energy drag, which leads to burnout. And we want to avoid burnout at all times. So it's not a daunting task. All you need to do is actually look at FlowChat. FlowChat is it's that one system that allows you to go hyper speed into prospecting. If you're doing direct outreach, if you're running a challenge, you can implement it inside a virtual summit. If you're having paid ads coming your way, all the likes and the comments, FlowChat can pick up all those people. And now you've put some pieces of content out there. People are coming your way. It's inbound. FlowChat is flexible enough to go inbound and outbound. So either way, you're going to win at the highest level. And that, my friends, is the thing for today. Is basically how to grow your agency or your business to 7 figures without using paid advertising. It's absolutely possible. We've done it 6 times now. We've built 2 businesses into the 8 figures without using paid advertising. One of them we did use paid ads, the other one we did not. And so, yeah, we've done this multiple times. And if this is something that you think is valuable and you want to go down the path of talking about this, go book a call with our team, get a free consultation call. It's really, really simple. It'll just be a discovery in which we answer 3 questions. Number 1, do we have some tech or a system or a process that will solve a problem for you? Great. Yes, we do. Number 2, how and where are we going to deploy it to solve the problem? And then number 3, what does success look like? And if we can get to the answer of all 3 of those, guess what? We're going to move at light speed and we're going to achieve the results that you're truly trying to get to. With that said, make sure and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to share this out to somebody else that might need to know those numbers. I think they're pretty valuable. With that said, I look forward to catching you on the next one. Ciao for now.